Welcome to episode 105 of the XRM Toolcast. In this episode, Scott and I are joined by Sara Lagerquist, a fellow MVP and a return guest, for our show to talk about building modern apps with the Creator Kit. Scott and Sarah also go through and relive some of their old pro code versus low code memories that they had. And Sara introduces probably the most interesting way to solve problems I've ever heard of, but actually I can see working quite well is by first presenting the problem without a solution to a German and then wait for them to give you the answer. So it's a lot of fun. Definitely get off topic of some things, but it's definitely a wonderful time sitting down with Sara, and I know you will too. So sit back, relax, and let's get started. Hello and welcome to another episode of the XRM Toolcast. Me, your host, Daryl, always raising the bar, and Scott back in blue to row. Scott, how's it going?
Very good, Daryl. I don't know exactly know if I've actually ever been in blue before, so this is just like a first time, yeah.
Yes,
but yeah, day 6 actually. So this is day 6 at Microsoft. So going really well so far.
It would be really bad if you already blew it.
There you go. And Sara has now introduced herself.
Sorry. Sorry.
Welcome, Sara, to the show.
Thank you.
Our guest, for those that can't see her, Sarah. Now this is always fun. I would say Lagerquist and be way off, but I think the key is to make it as possible. So like Sarah, like you just do that, and that's closer. It's the closest I can get to a good phonetic pronunciation. But anyway,
should it help you out?
You can. It won't help, but you can. Please do, actually, because I'll try to record it.
Sara Lagerquist.
Sara Lagerquist. Okay. All right.
That's pretty good. Pretty good, actually.
That sounded almost identical what Sara just said, Daryl.
Great. I'll just copy and paste that in over the top of my voice when I get to the intro. Great. So that's our guest. Let's give a background on who she is. Microsoft Business Apps MVP, speaker, blogger, event organizer, PPCS, Power Platforms. I'm just wondering what that acronyms right now. I'm not seeing it off the top of my head. I'm sorry. Business and application architect, hashtag ProCode and No Code Unite. That's your X-Twitter profile feed in case you had any idea where the heck that came from. Because sometimes I know I'm guilty of setting that and then being like, oh, I've had 2 kids since I wrote that last.
Well, I thought it sounded familiar, so
yes,
I think it's still accurate.
Yes, and Scott, did you catch the ode to a certain rock band in the back in blue reference there at the beginning of the podcast? It's kind of a stretch.
A rock band? No, tell me. Enlighten me.
So Back in Blue is close to Back in Black.
Well, yeah, AC/DC. Yes, very good. Oh my goodness, Daryl! I am so impressed with that segue. And the crowd goes wild. Yes, AC/DC. Yeah, I've got it going around in my head. So Sara, you've just been announced as a judge at AC/DC, which is going to be awesome. So I'm also judging as well. However, your picture in the AC/DC announcement looks amazing as Princess Peach, whereas mine looks completely ridiculous as Mario.
So I think it can have to do with they can't put a mustache on me. Because when they did that on you, that makes you look funny. But if they would have done that on me, I would have looked funny too. But no,
come on, look, they could have made you Luigi.
Pretty crown.
But then had you need Luigi
a mustache. There. But then you need a mustache. I'm going to have a hard time growing a mustache before February. I can tell you that.
You just try really hard and focus. Maybe
I will.
Run it into existence, yes. So AC/DC in the non-rock... they're from Australia, aren't they? Approach, right? Arctic Cloud Developer Challenge. So give us, since you're both the judges, right? Give us, what is this challenge that you guys are judging?
Well, Scott has been a judge before, I think. So you could probably correct me if I'm wrong. But it's a 3-day hackathon It's taking place outside of Oslo. And it's about like building the best solution, and we're going to judge if who is actually building the best solution.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the hackathons are great because it just anything goes, right? So people come together and it's like you've got a loose brief. That's Mario. And really, I mean, who knows what can happen with that? But it's like, oh, create something to do with Super Mario. I mean, and yeah, because it's cloud, so both the pro code and the low code and no code Power Platform coming together. Because last time I was there back in 2017, it was sort of Dynamics CRM, Dynamics 365 was just sort of entering into the fold from the SharePoint days. Because back in then, it was called the Arctic SharePoint Developer Challenge. Yeah, the whole thing was about using SharePoint and extending SharePoint. So I was there to just trying to promote Dynamics 365 and all the things there. So now it's just, yeah, completely different in that respect. But it's going to be awesome because the solutions that people come up with is just like, wow. And in such a short amount of time. I mean, they do stay up. People do stay up all night, just kind of hammering out code. I mean, it's a hackathon, right? So you got to do it. So
but there's like no limits on technology choices, right? You can like
absolutely
use
anything.
Whatever you know or want to know, or like whatever you have in your mind that you want to do. So I think that's kind of interesting too, that it's very open that way.
Exactly. Yeah, absolutely. And then there's like badges and different point sectors that you can get scored in. And so, yeah, we're going to have lots of fun, I think. Obviously, your speciality has been the whole low code piece, and that's really been your entire journey with a platform. So maybe you could just, for the listeners, explain, where you've come from in a potted history and how you got to where you are today, and maybe a bit of background on what you're doing now.
Sure. Well, I started out, I counted quite recently, a little more than 10 years ago, as I started as an administrator for a company who did sell like courses, and they implemented Dynamics 2011, and I found workflows. And that made my life easier, automated out of that. Also found how to create new columns and stuff straight in production, which I was not so appreciated by my partner. So they decided to hire me instead. So I'd stop messing around. And so I've been a consultant for about like 8 years now at different companies. And my focus is obviously on automating things, because that's what I loved helping myself do when I was on the other side. So that's what I want to do for my customers now. And just using what's in the toolbox when it comes to no code, low code, and build the simple solutions, but solving big problems pretty much. And I always have like a very big focus on the user in the end, since I used to be one.
So talk to me about how you go from feeling like you're being chastised for doing work in that you shouldn't be doing, that the consultants don't want you to do, to being like, hey, we want you on our team. Was that a long change, or was that, hey, why are you doing that? Don't do that. Come talk to us because we want you to do that for other people. How did that go? I just want to wonder.
Well, Jonas, right?
Yes.
He was my partner. So
I'm familiar with him.
Yeah, I think you heard of him. Yeah. I think every listener here might have too. So he was the partner on the partner side. So he actually taught me a couple of things and said like,
okay,
don't use this. And then I did anyways. Don't tell him.
He taught you it? That's a don't do it?
No, he taught me some stuff, and then I found other stuff, and then he said like, don't do that and that. And then I was supposed to like go back to boring administrator work tasks after a while.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of focusing on like implementing this new system from the customer side, and I was like, oh, that sounds really boring. So I took a 6-week leave and just traveled through Southeast Asia for 6 weeks, came back on the Monday, and like I quit because I need to study for something IT-ish. And then I told Jonas on that same Monday, like, and he said, like, why have you not been here on an interview yet? Come on over. So yeah, that went really quickly, actually.
Okay. All right. Interesting. So you liked it so much that you knew you didn't want to do what you're currently doing. So you just went off across the world for 6 weeks, came back and you're like, yeah, I can't get back into what I'm doing. And Jonas heard what you had done and it's like, well, you need to come over here and you need to be a part of this. And the rest is history. That's cool. Awesome.
That's amazing. That feels like a whole other podcast we could do. Your kind of road to discovery, your self-exploration through Southeast Asia and all the experiences that you had. It's like a whole backstory there.
Well, to be fair, I didn't focus a lot on like what I'm going to do with my life on that journey. I was just traveling, enjoying pina coladas and the beaches and good food. But when I got back home, I'm like, because I've never been a person who have anxiety on Sundays, like, it's work tomorrow. But then I felt that and I'm like, I can't live like this. This is too boring. I don't want to have Sunday anxiety. I'm going to find something that I enjoy doing instead.
Awesome. Sunday anxiety. That's a good a good thing to call out and realize that, hey, I should do a change here or look to see if there's a change possible to be doing.
If we were like a call-in show, like if people could say, oh, call in now, tell us about your Sunday anxiety. Yes. We'll take some calls now and maybe Sarah can help with them.
I'll be your advisor for it.
Yeah, exactly. But do feel to email us, if you want to tell us about your Sunday anxiety and in fact, how you managed to get away from Sunday anxiety. So good topic. But so you moved into working as a consultant. Mm-hmm. And so what were you kind of focusing on in those early days? I mean, what was the kind of the primary technology and solutions you're working on?
Yeah, the boring thing back then, which is so different now, is back then, like, we just got calculated field and roll-up fields, and then we had workflows. That was pretty much it. Maybe business rules came around that time too, but like it was extremely limited what I could actually do to help my customers. So it's a lot of data modeling, adding stuff in Dataverse, and writing some workflows magic, because of course. But yeah, so I've enjoyed every step that this platform has taken towards more and more tools for me to use, for me to be in control.
Well, I mean, that's the thing, is that it's constantly changing. I mean, that's what's so great about the job is that, well, I mean, you have to keep on top of it, but there's so many new things to constantly learn. And so if we think back to workflows and calculated fields, how far we've come today, all of the different things. I mean, how have you managed to stay on top of all those changes throughout that time to be where you are today, which is, you're very well respected as an expert in low code and creating apps on the Power Platform?
Scott, every year she takes a 6-week vacation around the world and then she comes back and she figures it out.
She's just drinking pina coladas on the beach. Maybe that's the answer to everything.
That's the answer. Whatever you do, just drink pina coladas and it will come to you. You will just know everything. Power Platform.
What have you been doing wrong all this time, Daryl? I mean, we've been trying so hard.
You didn't know that's how it works?
I thought like you had to work hard and like study and like read things and test things and try it out. Like pina coladas and beaches. What have I been doing? Jeez.
Exactly. No, but to be fair, I'm not sure that I have like a set strategy for keeping up. I think I'm curious and that helps. I love new things instead of fearing them. And I go to a lot of conferences where I usually get to speak about something that I'm passionate about, and then have the opportunity to go and see other people's sessions and get inspired by them. But I'm kind of a practical learner. So I really need like a proper use case, like a proper customer that needs something for me to actually utilize this new thing. Like I know there's low code plugins have I tried them yet? No, because I don't have a use case. I will eventually, but like I know what they're gonna do, so I know about them, but I've actually not been hands-on yet.
Well, I think having been in the audience to many of your different talks, I think that's what's always very unique about your style, is that you talk about real problems, solving real life problems, things that you've actually had a lot of experience with for a particular customer. I needed to do this, and this is how I found it worked really well using this particular technology, which is, I think, different. It's very easy for us to sometimes become very theoretical and just sort of know how something works broadly, but not actually have applying it in a particular scenario. So with the Creator Kit and modern apps, which I think is probably one of the things that would be great to talk about, how did you first get into that side of things? Building modern looking user interfaces on top of model driven apps, extending with custom pages.
Well, most of my customers have at least one model-driven app, like to start with, in so many scenarios. Because face it, that model-driven apps can solve a lot of problems with very little effort. But there are so many frustrating things that you can't do with model-driven apps, which the UI either will not allow you to do, or there's very many clicks. Like if you have to go over several tables for some type of process, and all you have is those business process flows, and like it's not a nice experience. You could probably tell I never used the business process flows. Yeah, so then I came in contact with the custom pages, and I think they've been out since 2021, so not like super new. But here, all of a sudden, you can extend your model-driven app without using code still. So I can do it. I don't have to get a developer to do for me. But and replace stuff that has been a pain in the all those things that we've asked for in first-party apps to replace dialogues, for example, like convert to case from email, for example, which is like a really sucky dialogue, which you can't change at all. You can't like remove fields, you can't add fields. It's just like, don't use it because it sucks. Here with the custom pages, all of a sudden you can just hide that button. You can create a new one. You can create your own dialogue with your own fields and make logic behind, like if you want to navigate to what record afterwards. So the opportunities are so much bigger with using custom pages to solve those really annoying gimmicks that we had problems with model-driven apps for so long. But then, yes.
Do you have a most common scenario that you found that like this is like people have been doing this other way, and this is way easier to do it with the custom pages here?
Well, dialogues, absolutely, but it also has to do with how you actually open custom pages. Because like you can't embed a custom page on a form like you can with embedded Canvas apps. So like it's usually some type of trigger or navigation that gets you into a custom page, which is the perfect use case for dialogues to replace those. But sometimes when you do want dialogues that are more interactive than just choosing a couple of drop downs or some toggles, maybe you want like a wizard type style. Like I took that example of like a process where you go over several tables to make something happen and create in the background and all of that. So when I started to have those use cases, and I'm like, how do I get this to actually look and feel like a model-driven app? Because I don't want people to click on a button and then they get like the Canvas app feel and look, even though I can probably do something more good looking than just the ugly out of the box Canvas app stuff. It still would be the same experience, right? For the user. They will feel like they're going into another application. I found Creator Kit. And I think I've been pestering Scott about like, how does this work? How does this work? How does this work? A couple of times because, but it's a really interesting kit where you get it's Fluent UI, right? No, you have these are details which I don't care so much about, but
Yeah.
Scott, you
Fluent
can
UI,
correct
that's
me.
exactly right.
Yeah.
You don't have to though, right?
No, I don't. I just use it. But there are a lot of components in that kit which you just install, and they have the look and feel of a model-driven app. So when you extend with custom pages, you can actually make it feel like part of your other app. Not sure I would use that kit if I was just doing a Canvas app, but for when extending model-driven apps to actually keep that same feeling, I love the Creator Kit. And there's a couple that I use more than others. I haven't used all the components, absolutely not. And now we also have this modern controls. Is that what they're
Yeah.
called?
Yeah.
That are sailing up there and competing with the Creator Kit somehow, or not competing, but like you should. So modern controls are still in preview, I think.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
And they have some limitations too, quite a lot of limitations too. But I would still like evaluate when I build an app if I can use a modern control, because they will be available out of the box soon, or if I want to use the Creator Kit, which is usually more functionality, but to be honest, it's code in the background and it's not part of the out of the box stuff. So evaluate like when do you use what?
So you're trying to make apps basically look exactly the same, as close as you can to the rest of model-driven apps. That's
Yeah.
the kind of because rest of model-driven apps is using Fluent, like you say, and so these dialogues that pop up or pages that you link to. Do you find that users have a problem, using them? Perhaps if you don't do everything the same as model-driven apps, how do you find people moving from a model-driven app into a custom page? And do you ever get that feeling like, ooh, maybe I shouldn't have gone down the custom page route. Maybe I should have stuck to the sort of standard model-driven forms?
Well, no, I think it's really important to always evaluate because like adding a custom page is still adding complexity, and debugging is harder, and like you're adding a lot of extra complexity to your solution. So absolutely, I only do it where I really feel there's a good use case for it, and then there's no other solution. And it could be like it depends on the use case and the customer, right? If they feel that they really need to decrease something with 3 clicks, and I'm like, you can't do that out of the box, and try to convince them, but then they like stick to, no, we need it more efficient. Maybe we have to do it as a custom page anyways.
Well, that's just it, isn't it? It's deciding on what actually is going to make a big difference. And if there is something that people do over and over and over again on a daily basis, and they want it to be 3 clicks rather than, I don't know, 10 clicks, who knows, however many, more than 3 clicks, then
3 clicks, a drag, a circle, a swoop, and a swipe. Yes.
Yes. And a little dance as well at the same time.
Dance.
Yeah. But yeah, nice dance. So yeah, it's like focusing your time on effort on the places that will make a big difference. Have you ever had to persuade someone not to customize the user interface? I mean, how would you go about trying to say, hey, let's try and stick to out of the box? I mean, what's your way of persuading people when you decide that perhaps you don't want to make it 3 clicks and it's actually okay to be doing a little dance?
Well, it depends on my audience, because like persuading colleagues is just no, this is the best way. Listen to me and do it like this. But with customers, it's usually a bigger challenge. But it kind of goes the same. Like, I know what I'm talking about. So listen to me. But then also, like, can we try this out of the box stuff first? And you get to feel it and like use it for a couple of weeks and see like how annoying it is. Because when someone really wants to rename an out-of-the-box table, for example, and you're like, you'll get used to it being called contact and not person. Can we just start with contact and see where it goes? And they're like, no, we have to. And then finally, if you just get them on board, like, we promise we'll do it in version 1.1, but start with this. And then it will end up in the backlog. They will prioritize it. If it's not a big deal, if it's a big deal, we'll actually do it. So I think small steps, iterations is probably a good word, maybe. I don't know.
Even convincing them to try the out of the box for a while and then it's not that big of a deal. Is I think a really good idea to be pushing to those people. Hey, we could do this. It's going to take a little bit extra time to create, and it's going to be more maintenance involved with it. There's a little bit more hoops you may have to jump through solution management or something. But so let's just see if this out of the box works. And okay, all right, it's been a week, it's been 2 weeks. Is that working? Hey, yeah, it's not that big. Like, I imagine you can cut off like half of the request just by saying try the other approach, and they're like, this is fine. This is doable. Well, that's the good part about being on the internal business side of the fence is it just has to be good enough. It doesn't have to be like a end user app. Like, they expect it to be beautiful. They expect it to work. They expect it to be functional. They expect all this stuff. They expect less clicks. They expect all this, they expect everything, right? Because that's what we have is all these apps that like everything at our fingertips. And when it doesn't happen, they get very upset. I switched over to geothermal heating, and the app for it is horrible. Like, it doesn't load half the time. I have to try it 3 times to get the load to work. It doesn't show me all the data. It misses data. And I'm like, oh, I'm so frustrated. We're 10 years ago, this would have been amazing. But so that's kind of funny.
But I think that's no matter what technology you choose, you always challenge your customers or end receivers of your app, whoever they are, internal or not, with their requirements. Speaking about requirement fulfillment, they're going to ask for the perfect thing, of course. Mm-hmm. But if you explain to them, I can do 80% of your requirement for 10 hours, and the rest of the 20% will take me another 80 hours. Do you want me to do that? Or should we just stay at 80%? Yeah. How do you want to proceed? Talk to them about consequences and choices. I think I booked, just before we did this call, I booked one of those meetings. I built this, but it requires you to click on one more thing before you finish this process. Can I show you on Thursday and see if this is good enough? Or if we have to write a plugin to figure it out fully automatically. And so, have those meetings all the time.
It depends on really the person. Compelling. It depends on the person that's writing the check in those too, because sometimes you're talking to the person that doesn't write the check, and so they want everything regardless. And other times you're speaking to the person that writes the check, yes, this is fine. We'll work with it.
So invite both. Invite both to that call and meeting.
Maybe I'm not quite as inviting for people. Maybe I do, and they just say, "Well, do I want to with there, or would I? Not with Daryl. No, but sorry, hey, I'll meet with her. You never know."
I mean, if someone asked me if I wanted to spend, 80 hours on 20% of the requirements, then it's I would definitely say probably not. It's quite a compelling way of asking the question. That's good. So assuming you've made that decision, then you said, okay, well, there's a requirement that definitely needs to move into some custom UI. What's your sort of next way of approaching that? Do you have any sort of go-to patterns that you use or templates? And what's the kind of the most common controls that you use to solve specific challenges?
Well, 90% of my use cases have the detailed list control from the Creator Kit, which is pretty much like a view in a model-driven app, with so many settings. And I know there's a modern control that's starting to look and feel like the detailed list. I think it's called table or something, generic, and only works with the Dataverse, to be clear. But it still lacks tons of functionality that the detailed list doesn't have. For example, like a multi-select, choose several items from a list. You don't have that in the new control. It's only in previews also, but you can do that with the detailed list. So yeah, that one is for sure something. And also the command bar that looks and feels like a model-driven app, where you can add your own like new, delete, edit kind of buttons. Because using these controls also make those custom pages being created super quickly. Like I can put up a page that looks like a model-driven app in a couple hours, and it will work because I have all that. If I would have done the classic Canvas app look and feel and just put a gallery in there and tried to make headers on that, and like there would be so much more work for me to do. Here, I can just go in, I write some like low code, and then it's done. It's really quick.
How is that transition to writing the low code part of that? Is that something that was easy for you? Did you struggle with it? Did it come naturally? Like how is that journey for you?
I think it was probably for many others too. Like, when you start like, I don't understand. I copy paste, it doesn't work. Sometimes it does. And then suddenly you come over that little hurdle and like, it makes sense. Now it makes sense. Now I understand. Absolutely not everything. I'd be impressed by the person who's like, I know all the Power FX functions and exactly how they work. Probably Scott, though.
Oh, no.
It works at Microsoft, so now you can know everything.
That's what I do every night, is just test myself on all the...
Well, now I guess the best tool we have, I think, is just like a Chat GPT thing to go through and ask questions and figure.
I was gonna say that. Yeah. But just getting over that hurdle, and again with the real use cases thing, especially for me, I just needed like a super simple app to start with. If someone would have asked me like, oh, can you do this big complex one, I would be so lost at code and probably be scared off and never touch it again. But if you just get your hands on doing like a small thing here and there, and then it can grow. I don't think the journey is so scary anymore.
Do you think that your view of code has changed over the last sort of 3 years? Because we had a kind of a thing, didn't we, about when was it, like 3 years ago? Was it maybe 3 or 4 years ago when we did at Scottish Summit, and we started the hashtag Pro Code No Code Unite?
Yeah,
and I remember way back you kind of famously went on and said code equals technical debt. And you put that out there as a sort of like just a bomb, and there was a small explosion in social media. Well, it wasn't actually small; it was quite large.
Quite large. Well, to be fair, like that session we did was the conclusion of it, which not everyone got, because oh my god, the hate I got after that session was insane. All Scott supporters were like, no, you're wrong. And I'm like, but we agree. We agree on this. And they're like, no, you are still wrong. And I'm like, that means Scott is wrong too. No, you are wrong. Yeah, it was messed. But our conclusion in that session was pretty much that no matter what technology you choose, choosing the wrong tech for the problem is going to give you technical debt. Choosing the right one will actually give you technical debt in the long run too. So, so everything creates technical debt. So I was still true to that statement that codes equal technical debt, but we can just add a couple more stuff into that to make it more, yeah.
How many of those first workflows did you write that you consider technical debt now?
Exactly. Now they would be horrible to touch.
Probably all of them.
Yeah.
Probably all of them are technical debt.
Very likely.
At some point in time, it's going to go away. And so you got to replace it. By definition, that's technical debt.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and that's exactly as you say. You know, everything creates technical debt somewhere along the lines of, it's not just now, it's going to be It's really how you address it and how you manage it that's the key, and how you make the decisions and justify those decisions. But if you think
exactly,
back to
justification, like the value has to be higher than the complexity that you're bringing into your solution. The value has to be higher, and you have to talk about value with your like receiver, if it's customer or internal, whatever. Like, is this actually going to bring you that value that you need? Because look at everything, the complexity we're bringing into it.
I think that sums everything up, doesn't it? I mean, that's a clean. That's it. That's everything you just said there. I think that's it. You've basically had the last sentence to say on for everything. If we can just stop now, Daryl, because
stop now.
So that's it. Everything is covered.
No more.
No, that's right.
Everything's we talked about.
The last chapter.
Covered.
The
last
end.
Chapter. It's funny sometimes how we get into ruts where we don't think about the technical. We don't think about the costs, especially in our time. Like, I was in our relationships too. I was like walking around the house and I wanted a piece of tape. I bought myself a tape dispenser because I could never find one, and I had it in my office. And 6 months ago, one kid took it, and then another kid took it from him, and I no longer had my tape dispenser anymore, and I don't know where it is. No one knows where it is, and I got frustrated and like stupid about a tape dispenser. Like, why would I have? I went on Amazon and I'm like, well, I could buy this one for $8, and then I'm gonna have the same. Or I could just buy 3 for $10. Like, well, come on, like $10 to be done with this problem. Like, I give each kid a tape dispenser, and then I'm good to go. Like, it's so silly how like sometimes we fight a bit against that. Like, I better save the extra $2. Really, the extra $2? Like, you're gonna have to say, like, just get each one, and then you're good. You don't have to worry about it. You'll find one. I mean, yeah, it's just silly things like that we get so like, oh, if I do this, I'll save this, or I'll do this, I can, this is better this way. And you're like, is it really worth the hassle? Yeah. I don't know.
Well, I think it's always a balance. Like,
yes, it is.
Like you're saying, in private life and work life, there's always a balance that you have to consider, and you have to spend some time reflecting on it. But
Yes.
again, you can't spend too much time reflecting on it, because that would increase like waste of time in another one. Yeah.
It would take me a lot longer to consider buying 3 cars because I can't find one. That would be different than 3 tape dispensers.
and you can only have 3 weeks on the beach. You can't have like 5 weeks on the beach. I mean, that would be. You got to
6 would just be ludicrous.
Exactly. So the Power FX and the actual code, because a lot of people talk about, is Power FX code, because we talk about low code and we talk about less code and more power and all these different things, and it always seems like a bit of a counterproductive discussion, really, because at the end of the day, as you say, everything creates technical debt, and it's about picking the right tools for the job. So it doesn't really matter if it's code or if it's not code. It's about, well, what value does it bring? But were there any particular resources that you found valuable when you moved into creating Power FX and custom pages and Canvas apps as well?
Well, ChatGPT. No, I'm joking. You having you on speed dial? Yes. Wait, let me just WhatsApp Scott for a bit. No, but like, to be honest, the community are always amazing when you get either stuck because you can't find the answer by looking at Learn or Google or other people's blogs, and you can just put out a question in a forum or in like groups I have all over, like WhatsApp and Twitter and all of that. You can just go out and ask, and someone will help you lead you towards your problem. And it can also be like, I don't have enough time to actually research this. Let me just throw out a question and see if someone has something on this, and they choose how much time they want to spend on helping you. Like, I've had Louise Fries just call me up for 1.5 hours to try to sort out a problem I had because I had a question. Wow. She's like, I'll jump on a call with you. So the community is like so super amazing when it comes to helping out, and you learn so much from that, right? like having Luis sitting and actually explaining what is going on and what is happening. Of course, I learned tons of that instead of just finding the solution somewhere.
That's amazing, isn't it? That power of community and everyone willingness to help each other is fantastic, and having that and being brave enough to reach out and ask for help, I think, is something that is sometimes difficult to do to start off with. But then when you realize that actually people are so willing to help, it makes it so easy then to start to carry on doing that.
You know what also helps? Having a German that you present a problem with and not a solution, because Benedict Berman will not let it rest. If I say like, oh, I have this challenge, I don't know how to solve it, he's like, you don't know how to solve it? I'll find a way. So yeah, having a German helps too.
That's the answer to everything. You have to have a German. Some people
I'm
have
half German. I can't be 100% German.
So you only help half of the time.
I only have, yeah. So you can only present half the problem, or you have to present half the solution. Maybe that's what it is. From the other details.
That's not a reputation that you want to get, Daryl. Really? Oh, yeah, Daryl. He only ever provides half the solution.
Sometimes that's all you need.
Just keeping the other half.
So if
there was 3 tips, if you could go back to your self when you first started using Power Effects, because I think there's probably a lot of people, certainly in the pro code world, maybe people who write C# plugins and things like that, that's what they do on a day-to-day basis, or JavaScript and TypeScript, and they perhaps maybe haven't moved into that low code world because they're quite happy with where they are and they don't need to. If there were sort of 3 things that you could tell yourself when you first started using Power Effects before you knew anything, can you think of any sort of things that were like aha moments?
That's a good question. No, I would like, my only tip would probably be to, if you have a colleague or a friend, can you sit next to them when they're building something? Because just watching them explain what they're doing helps. It helps me with a real case need that I have. But some others might like learn better from Learn with those examples that you can do there. But I just need like, what are you trying to do and why are you doing this? And be able to question, like, why are you using the with function now? Why are you not using the for all? What does it matter? What's the difference? When do you use what? To actually understand the behind, not only like, oh, it works, I'm not going to touch it. Like, why does it work? Is there a better way to do it? How, like, be curious on those things, I would say.
Looking at other people's code, really. Looking at how other people do stuff, that's how I learn. I think that's how a lot of people learn. I mean, everything that I do it comes from show me the code, So I want to see how people approach solution, how they solve problems and the solutions they come up with and the different ways of people doing the same thing. Incredibly powerful.
So, what would be like the most complicated thing you've done in Power FX? Like, is there something that was like, oh, this is a challenge, it took X number of lines, I had to talk to Benedict 15 times? Like, what was what's the most like complicated thing that you were able to say, yes, I accomplished that?
Well, I've had like a wizard where I did, so it was for a course company, so you can add participants to a course. And so I did a wizard stuff that you can first choose from already existing contacts. Then in the next step, you can add contacts. And in the third step, you have to first see if there's already some, like, add those new contacts, make sure there's no duplicates, and then also see if there's already a participant registered for that course date for that person. And like all that logic to make sure like all the duplicate rules and stuff, and creating a lot of records at the same time in the background. That's probably the most complex stuff I've done.
Did you ever get to the moment where like you were struggling for hours on something, not sure why it wasn't work, and then you finally get it, like yes. Did you ever do that? Because that's like when you get to that point, low code or high code, like that's like the moment where like you're like, yes, I'm like the smartest person alive. Like that's the euphoria, and it only comes through just gritting your teeth and trying to figure out why the heck isn't this working. And so you've experienced that. That's good. I'm glad you have.
Absolutely. That happens a lot. And I'm the annoying person to tell my colleagues when they are struggling exactly like that. Like, but it will be so fantastic when you figure it out. And they're like, I do not want to hear this right now. And I'm like, but it will be. It will feel amazing. So yeah, I strive to get that feeling. I love that feeling.
Well, I'm like, though, I have these moments where I'm like, yes, I'm the smartest person alive. And then like literally 30 seconds later, I'll be like, I'm literally the most stupidest person alive. Go from one end to the other so quickly.
You do something great. And then you're like, why isn't this working? 20 minutes later, oh, I forgot a comma.
Yeah.
Well, I never go to that bad side, actually. I'm like, there must be something wrong with this. Yes.
We've got so much to learn. Yeah. I need some of those pina coladas, clearly.
Well, is there anything else that we've missed? Anything else that we need to discuss? Any highlights? Anything coming up for you besides the AC/DC judging? Anything else that we can share with our listeners?
No, not judging anything that I'm aware of yet. We'll see.
Have you got any conferences that you're looking forward to going to, or you're thinking about maybe speaking at?
I do. There's a new kid in town called Color Cloud something.
Yeah,
it's in Hamburg in April. Wow. So I really look forward to that event. I think it's going to be amazing. So that's the one I'm set on besides AC/DC now, and Dynamics Minds in Slovenia. I look forward to also.
All right.
So we'll see what the next year holds for me.
Yeah, because we're kind of going into a bit of a lull with the conference season is sort of winding down a little bit at this time. But well, we'll put a link to in the show notes about that. So yeah, it's Color Cloud. Colorcloud.rocks is the URL for the one in Hamburg. Yeah, it looks really interesting because it's kind of got the whole spectrum. I think that's the idea, the whole spectrum of technologies all kind of coming together as a big rainbow. So yeah, maybe I'll be able to get to that one as well. That'd be cool.
I also noticed this is back-to-back episodes where we've had tattoos readily visible from our guests. Although yours are a little more interesting than the previous one. Yes,
who did you have last time?
We had Nick Dolman, who got a tattoo of his podcast on his arm.
Ooh.
Yes.
Well, I don't have a podcast to tattoo on my.
You can always get XRM Toolcast, like right, or maybe, yeah.
Thank you for the offer. Thank you. I'll consider it.
We'll send you that.
I'm going to the normal licensing fee we normally charge for that sort of thing.
Yeah, you have to have the little.
Or you pay me for the commercial.
Ooh. How much would that be to
Oh, I'm
rent
not very
some of
cheap.
your arm for life?
My body, it's not very cheap, so.
Well, a crowdfunding campaign to get the XRM Toolcast somewhere in Sarah's spot, right in the forehead, so everyone could see it. That'd be great. Every morning you wake up, stupid XRM Toolcast.
Here, well, that could cost you.
And if our listeners would like to get a hold of you, ask questions or ask see what other activities you may be up to, how can they get a hold of you?
Well, I'm on LinkedIn. You can just type in Sara Lagerqvist or something like that. Or I also have a blog and a website with a contact form, which is saralagerqvist.com, which you can reach out to me. I do have email. It's rarely used, but if you find it somewhere, use it. I'll see if I can respond.
No promises on the email. All right.
No, old tech. Who uses email?
Old people. People. Well, Scott, that's how our listeners can get a hold of our guests. And even those that are older that need to use email, they can get a hold of that way too. How can our listeners get a hold of us?
Well, Daryl, yes. You can get hold of us by email at cast@xrmtoolbox.com. Or you can get hold of us on socials at xrmtoolcast. And yeah, we'd love to hear from you. If you want a shout out, maybe. In fact, actually, we do have a shout out to give to Keith Atherton, who wrote to us very kindly saying that he listens to the show and he enjoys it. So thank you, Keith. But yeah, if you want to let us know about any suggestions for future shows or just ask, questions about low code for Sarah, that would be great, because it's been an amazing pleasure having you on the show and hearing about your journey and hearing about all your experiences with Power Effects and the Creator Kit. Look forward to seeing how it moves forward with the whole Fluent UI, and maybe we can have you back again to talk about the move to modern controls maybe in another few months.
Yes. Thank you for having me.
Great seeing you again, and great having you on the show again. A repeat guest. So that's always good. So, all right. Well, have a good one, guys. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
This has been the XRM Toolcast with Daryl Labar and Scott Durrell. Produced by Lynn Zawin. If you have any questions or suggestions, please send them to cast@xrmtoolbox.com, tweet @XRM Toolcast, or hit us up on our LinkedIn XRM Toolcast page.